Part two, the new family orientation for Paradise Point Camp 2023. It is Monday, April 24th, and we are working through some technical issues. Thank you for your patience and grace, and we will start this recording over again. So if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And there will be time at the end of each section, as well as at the end of our presentation, to answer specific questions. So today we'll go over a lot of information that is a repeat from information that can be found in the camper info packet that was emailed to you during the registration process and is available at any time online. And I will show you where to access that when we get there. So let's introduce ourselves. So we can go to the next slide, please. This is our year-round staff. My name is Megan Kittredge. I'm the camp director. At Paradise Point, we have camp names, and these are sometimes silly names that we use instead of our real names, as both a way to have some extra fun, and it's a way that we give our seasonal staff a little bit more privacy, especially on social media and online, that they have a special name that is just reserved for camp. So you can call me Megan. My camp name is Eggs, and I am the camp director. I'm going to pass it over to Caitlin to introduce herself.
Yes, so my name is Caitlin Martin. I am the assistant camp director, and my camp name is Doolittle.
And then not on this call, but featured here in the slide is Renee Roman. She is our camp registrar. So a lot of communication with parents will be going through Renee. So she'll be the person most likely to pick up a call, return a voicemail, or forward those on to the right folks. So we're very appreciative of her. Her camp name is Doodle. So we are your year-round team for Paradise Point. Okay. Thank you. Next slide. So Paradise Point is a ministry of the Episcopal Church in Idaho and welcoming of all faith and non-faith backgrounds. So you do not have to be Episcopalian or know what that means to be a part of our camp community. Paradise Point was established in 1935 and have been running summer camps at our location since 1938. Our mission is spiritual growth and leadership development through faith, fellowship, and fun. This summer, we are running a total of 6 weeks of youth and teen camps. That includes youth camps, teen camp, our leadership development program, beginners camp, and our day camp program. We also offer adult and family camps later on in the season, and we welcome rental groups like family reunions, school groups, and weddings. They kind of fill out our summer season. This call will focus on our youth and teen programs for 2023. Next slide, please. Paradise Point is an accredited camp from the American Camp Association. They are the major accrediting body for camps in the United States. They were founded in 1910, and they've established this accreditation process in 1948. And they set high industry standards for all areas of camp. They involve a rigorous annual compliance and extensive site visit every 5 years. So we are a network of 2,500 camps that are also accredited by the American Camp Association, one of 6 accredited camps in Idaho. We've been accredited since 2011, and ACA has been a great resource, not just for us as camp professionals, but also for parents and families. So that link at the bottom, acacamps.org/parents and families. If you want packing tips, or if you want homesickness tips, or if you're just interested in what other camps are out there and what kind of programs are out there, they're a wonderful resource to check out. So I want to highlight them. And then next we have the Episcopal Camp and Conference Centers. So they're a collective of, Episcopal camps across the country, and they help Paradise Point with professional development, staff exchanges, and spiritual program support. So as all of the Episcopal camps across the country, we share resources with each other to make sure that we are building the safest, most engaging, and life-changing programs that we can. So we love our ECCC partners. I'll pass it off to Caitlin.
Yeah, so next, staffing. So we take seriously the responsibility of caring for your child. All of our staff are either 18 years old or older, or 17-year-olds who have completed a leadership development program with our camp or through another camp before. All staff members have completed national and regional background and sex offender registry checks. And Paradise Point holds multiple check professional references on file for each staff member. So that is a requirement for working at our camp. Paradise Point knows our staff. So in addition to interviews, staff had completed up to 2 weeks of staff training in person at camp. Many of our staff this summer are returning staff members, or they are graduates of Paradise Point's leadership development program. So we're super excited to welcome campers who have gone through that pipeline now into staff members. During in-person staff training, we addressed risk management, positive behavior management, age-based characteristics, program instruction and implementation, abuse identification and prevention training, and much, much more. The list can go on and on. All of our staff members are CPR First Aid AED certified, and they participate in a national recognized abuse identification and child abuse prevention training called Safe Church. This year, all of our staff will also complete a mental health training called Community Resilience Model, also known as CRM training. Specialization staff includes lifeguard certifications, which are open water certified, high ropes certification, archery and axe throwing certification, food handlers permits, and serve safe manager for our kitchen coordinator. All right.
So I'm gonna,
I will pass it on to Megan.
thanks. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about the health and safety procedures that we have at Paradise Point. So featured on this slide here is our camp on-site healthcare provider, Nurse Noni. We love her. She's a registered nurse, and she is kind of our main healthcare provider during our youth camp season. So anything that is beyond her scope of practice as an RN will be sent to the St. Luke's Clinic in McCall or the ER, depending on both availability hours and obviously the needs of our person being transported. Parents are always notified or anything that involves transportation to St. Luke's Clinic. So if that were to happen, you'd be getting a call from us. So COVID, we are still living in a world in which people get sick, and we are not totally sure what this summer will look like, but we are working with the Central District Health, following the recommendations from the CDC. So if you're familiar with the CDC's county tracker, that's kind of our main source of information as far as what we look for in both Valley and Ada counties for community transmission of COVID, and that kind of informs our decisions about making sure that we are safe, not just for our camp community, but the many, many communities that our campers go to every week. Couple of quick other notes. Health forms and medication info are due 2 weeks before arrival. A lot can change between registration and sending a camper up to camp, including new medications or injuries or whatever. So please update that information before sending your camper up to us. Medications, we require that they are blister packed or bubble packed. So that's a tamper evident packaging. And many pharmacies will blister pack at no cost to you, or you can use a cold sealing blister pack that's available online. Just make sure that we have the prescription information, including the patient name for anything that's outside of a original prescription bottle. Don't worry about bubble packing any liquids, creams, medication that's taken as needed, inhalers, or birth control. This is so helpful to have those pre-packaged for arrival day so that we can focus on getting to know your camper and welcoming them and not counting out meds. And it helps limit the possibility for med errors as well. We are a peanut-free camp. So Please don't send any peanut products with your camper. We just have several community members that have life-threatening peanut allergies, and so we don't take any risks as far as peanut products. So thank you for all of that. Okay, I'm gonna try to do some screen sharing again. This is where we lost our Zoom call last time, so we'll do what we can. I want to point out a couple of important resources, and before we move away from this, in this screen that's on up right now, you'll see the kinds of automatically generated emails that you can plan on receiving. That includes a monthly account statement, a 3-week and a 1-week before camp preparation emails, a 2-day before camp final reminder, and then 2 days before departure to make sure we have the right information as far as the transportation home, and reminding you about having whoever is picking up your camper be an authorized pickup on their account. So the screen I'm gonna share is gonna be what it looks like on our website. So this is the admin side of Ultra Camp, so don't worry about that. But I need to move this down. Sorry, team. Caitlin, can you see the camp website there?
Yes.
Great. So if you were to say need help identifying all of the important information you need to prepare for success at Paradise Point, that's going to be in the youth and teen camps. You can click on that, and all of these different pictures have different pieces of information, including the youth camp info packet that was sent to you at registration. Look at that, it's available all the time. Sorry. If you needed to double check transportation information, here is how to get to Paradise Point. Here is where all of the stops are and when they stop for our camp provided transportation. If you wanted to check out our packing list, here's what we recommend campers bring and some things we recommend that they leave at home. So you and your camper can check out all of the resources available online on our website, and that will be a great way to get them excited as well. So apologies, this is our admin side of Ultra Camp, and we are going to go into our test account. So Ultra Camp is camp's registration software. And it also houses a lot of information. This is where you made registrations for your camper. This is where you can make payments on your account. This is where you can make yourself a registration for a family camp, all that fun stuff. So when you register, or when you log in to your Ultra Camp account, it will look something like this. And if you wanted to access some of that important information, it's going to be in this little 3-line, just called like a hamburger menu over here. It'll bump out all of this important stuff, like how to make a payment on your account. You can pay with a bank account, credit card, sponsorship code. If you needed to access an important document. So when I go into the document center, this test account is going to say, we have not completed this camper's health form. And remember that those are due 2 weeks before the start of camp. But this is where you can access this information. And this will give you this red banner reminder every time you log in until that's completed, which I understand can kind of be annoying, but that's just a way that we make sure that the really important information, like your camper's health form, gets completed. So if you needed to check out your camper's health form, if you are sending your camper on one of our extra adventures and you need to sign a rafting waiver or a horseback riding waiver, those are available in that document center. If you're attending a family and adult camp, we've got some information there. If you wanted to check out a map, you could check out our map of camp. And then here's all of those info packets. So youth and teen camp info packets, probably going to be the one that applies to most people watching this video. But you might have a camper coming to the staff and training program or the fall youth event. So any of our camps have an info packet that's in here. And then if you would like some information or an application to our scholarship, so that would be right here. And just as a little plug, scholarships of up to $220, request of support up to $220 are automatically approved. So please don't be shy about asking for assistance if that's something you or your family need. So that was here at the Document Center. We're going to go into the Message Center here at Ultra Camp. And this is where you can email a camper and where you can see all the communication that has been sent to you. So this test account has registered for a camp, and so they received their registration confirmation today. So I pretended to register for a camp today. So let's get back to emailing a camper. We are a tech invisible camp at Paradise Point, and parents, family members, friends, pets can email a camper. We print them out, and then we send those like regular mail to our campers during the lunch mail call time. We'll get into mail details a little bit later, but this is where you email your camper. Right now, I have not purchased any email credits. So I believe it's 15 emails for $5. So I don't have any ability right now to send my camper an email. But if I had purchased some of those credits, I could send my camper emails. And again, those get printed off every day before noon. So if you're an early bird, that would be great to get your camper that same day email. Now we're going to go down to the camp store portion of this menu. We're not using the online store feature, so you can check it out, but it's empty. Our camp store is called Brown Bear. We'll talk about kind of how that functions in the day-to-day camp setting a little bit later. But this is how you can track in the balance and add any money to your camper's Brown Bear account, their camp store account. Most folks spend about $10 to $15 each week. We limit the purchase of our sugary snacks and drinks, but people might want to purchase some of our merchandise. So this is how you can check and see where your camper's balance is, if you'd like to add more money or not. And then this also is how you can select how you'd like unspent money to be either donated to the scholarship fund or refunded back to you at the end of all of the youth camps. Because we have so many siblings and campers coming for multiple weeks, we don't process our store deposits for refunds until after all of the youth camps have been completed. So that's a little bit about our camp store here in our Ultra Camp website. You could also purchase a gift certificate if you would like that can be redeemed online. And then this is where you would access the photos for your camper. We upload photos. We try for every other day. Our upload speeds at Paradise Point are slow, and our staff are focused on keeping your campers safe and happy, not so much on uploading photos. But we do try to get those done every other day, and then at least all of them completed within a week of your camper's time at Paradise Point. So you'd log in here, select the week of your campers that you're registered for, and then all of the photos will show up here, and you can download them as your heart desires. Blow them up, put them over your bed, whatever you'd like to do with them. And you can also share the photo gallery with a friend account if you wanted to share the camp experience with your campers' friends and families. And then we have some sponsorship information. Like I said, those scholarships are up to $220 are automatically approved. If you'd like to make a donation to Paradise Point Camp, that can be done here. And that is the majority of how the Ultra Camp process works. So important information up here, your upcoming reservations, making a new reservation. So right now, Youth Camp 2, this test account is registered. And then if I wanted to make a payment, we would be up here. Okay. That is a lot of information about Ultra Camp and our website. So thanks for following along with me. And I am going to stop sharing now.
All right. So, like Megan talked a little bit about, we have meal time. So meal time happens right after lunch. We do not allow packages to be sent to our physical address. They need to be sent to our PO box. We often don't get packages that are sent to our physical address, so make sure that they are being addressed to the PO box. It does take several days for packages and mail to get to McCall and be sorted for pickup, so we ask that you send packages early to ensure delivery. And all of packages should not include food. It's really hard for us to store food in our camp store, and so we ask that you do not send your camper any food in those gifts. They can include things like cards, games like Mad Libs, coloring books, glow-in-the-dark toys, water toys, books, notebooks for autographs, stickers, pens, you name it. All of that is fun stuff. You can also drop off a care package at arrival for later distribution. You can either let us know what day you would like it to be delivered, or we can just randomly distribute it throughout the week. If your camper does not know how to address an envelope, send them with pre-addressed envelopes. It makes it much easier on the staff to make sure that those letters are actually getting to you. All right. So you can see here, one of our camp traditions is throwing campers into the lake with 3 letters or a package. Campers don't have to be forced to get thrown in the lake. That's not something that we do. So they can nominate another person if they would like, or they can sing instead. If they don't want to do either of those options, that's also okay. We encourage challenge by choice. So we let our campers choose what they would like to do, and we're not forcing anyone to do anything that they don't want to do. But it is a fun tradition. All right. Lost and found. So we have lots of lost and found at the end of the season. Prevention on this is labeling clothes. So we love clothes or items with labels on it. It makes it easier to reach out to you. And please don't send valuables or hard to clean items to camp. Campers are going to get them dirty. They're going to lose them. They're going to break them. It's just not a good idea. And any lost and found items are set out on a table at checkout. So make sure that you look at that table, browse through your items. Even if your camper says that they have everything, just double check that table, because we know most likely they don't have everything. Unclaimed items will be set up at departure, but we hold those until youth camp. August 6th is our last youth camp. Any unclaimed items after that date will be donated. All right.
Okay, we said we were going to talk about brown bear. We're going to talk about brown bear. I already showed you how to access the Ultra Camp side of this point of sale system to track your camper spending and deposit any money that you'd like. As I shared, campers can only buy 2 sugary snacks a day. Otherwise, it would be all tropical punch all the time. Our merch is anywhere between 50 cents and $40. So there are options for campers to purchase those things if you and they would wish. And as I shared, unspent money is either donated to our scholarship fund, with an option of getting it refunded, processed at the end of all of the youth camps. The image on the right at the top is this year's t-shirt and sweatshirt design. It's got a real cute campy squirrel. I like it. And then the other design or the other image is our camp store, Brown Bear. So that's that. Next, we're going to talk about Arrival Day. So when the day finally comes and we are ready for arrival, what does it look like? So our camp is located off of a dirt road that has a really long, narrow driveway. So our gate for our driveway will open at 2 p.m. We will have staff at the top and the bottom of the driveway directing traffic because you don't want to end up nose to nose on that real narrow driveway. Our bus will arrive around 4 p.m., 4:30, depending on traffic and other pieces for them. So you'll check in with myself and Caitlin. We'll have a little table set up for you. At that point, you can deposit any extra money in your store balance. You can pay off any remaining balance due. You can drop off those packages like Caitlin was saying. And then you'll check in with our health center with Nurse Noni. And that's where you'll drop off any medications. Make sure that Nurse Noni is aware of anything that we need to do to help your camper have a great week at camp. And then we also do check for lice. So we have a no knit policy. So lice can be shut us down totally and completely and be really hard to get rid of in a camp setting. So that's why we do hair checks. They're not invasive and part of our check-in process. So after we've gone through your hair and you've said hi to our nurse, our staff walk campers down to a general congregation area to meet their counselor and to make a name tag. And that's going to be kind of the best spot for parents, family members to give them a big hug, send them with your love, tell them how strong and brave they are, and then be on your merry way and enjoy McCall if you'd like. And then for the campers, the rest of the arrival day will look a little bit like this. When the entire cabin has arrived, campers will move into their cabin. So even though you might be first come, that doesn't necessarily mean you get dibs on a top bunk. We are a fair place. Cabins together will create cabin norms. They'll go on a camp tour. They'll visit Brown Bear to turn in any of their electronics or snacks that they might have had from the drive up. And then they'll get together and go on their swim test. There's not always time for every cabin to do their swim test, but the swim test is 4 lengths across our dock and a 2-minute water tread. In total, it's about 40 yards of swimming and that 2 minutes of treading water. Campers can retry for their swim test every day if they'd like. It's a way that we make sure that we know our campers' swimming abilities. And for those who are not strong swimmers, we've got lots and lots of life jackets to help keep them safe. So that's a part of our arrival process. And then we have dinner, usually pizza. We have evening reflections up at our chapel. It's part of our spiritual program time. And then after that, campers get to sign up for their activities for the week. So they get to choose, do I want to do ceramics or do I want to do archery? Do I want to do parkour or do I want to make a bracelet? Whatever the activities that are available for that week, they'll go, and that image on the bottom left is from last year at one of our activity signups. After everybody's got their schedule set for the week, we go to campfire, talk about ways that we keep everybody safe at camp and kind of our all camp norms. We get ready for bed. That's been a full day. That's our arrival day process. So if we were going to skip over all of the fun that campers have at a week of camp and go straight from arrival day, I'm going to talk about departure day. So on departure day, all of our campers pack up their bags, put them in the correct location for their transportation method, if they're taking a bus or they're getting picked up at camp. We eat breakfast and they complete their own camper survey so we can make sure that we're every year doing the best we can. A lot of those responses are about how cold the lake is. And unfortunately, there's not much we can do about the Payette Lake's temperature. We have our last call for Lost and Found. We've picked up all our items around camp. We sing a couple of final songs, and then staff pickup starts at 10 a.m. And similar to arrival day, we have staff at the top and the bottom of the driveway to help direct traffic. If you're picking up in camp or any of our locations, you must have an ID and be on the authorized pickup list for your camper. Even if we know you, even if you've picked up your camper 3 times already this summer, it's a part of our process to make sure that we are doing it by the book. You've got to have your ID with you. We'll hand you a ticket out of camp, and then our staff will collect that before you head out on the driveway. But what if you're not at camp on departure day? What if your camper is taking the bus to Boise or somewhere beyond? We have pickup and drop-off locations at Pocatello, Jerome, Boise, and Horseshoe Bend. There is camp staff at all of those locations because our camp staff are riding the bus with our campers to make sure that they're keeping an eye on them. And our registrar, Renee, is going to be at Boise for every arrival and departure day, so you can say hello to her. If your camper is taking camp-provided transportation from Pocatello or Jerome, on arrival day, please send them with a lunch. That's a real long bus ride, and so they'll need a lunch. We will make sure to provide water for all of our campers, and we will provide their lunch home on the last day. And just like I said, at every location, you've got to have that ID and be on the authorized pickup list. And then if you wanted to add people to the authorized pickup list, that can be done through the Ultra Camp profile. And I'd be more than happy to go back in and show you how to do that, but want to be aware of our time. And that's kind of our departure day information.
All right, so next we're going to go into a typical day at camp. So our campers wake up bright and early at 7:30 a.m. They've got about 30 minutes until breakfast, which is at 8 a.m. After that, they'll go from mornings to morning celebration. That's another one of our worship times just up at our chapel, part of our spiritual program. And then they do cabin cleanup and prep for activities. They'll compete for something called the Golden Dustpan Award. So whichever cabin has the cleanest cabin that day gets the Golden Dustpan, and they get to eat first at the next meal. We have our morning activities after that. Those are those activities that your camper would have chosen for themselves. We try to discourage campers choosing activities more than a couple of times. So if they want to do parkour all week, we'll encourage them to do something like canoeing instead. After morning activities, we'll have lunch and do our mail call, which we talked a little bit about earlier. Then we have toes up time. Toes up time is also known as nap time. Campers don't have to take a nap during this time, but they do have to be quiet and respectful of their other cabins and cabin mates who do want to sleep during that time. After that, we'll have a couple hours for waterfront. Waterfront will again be supervised by certified lifeguards who are open water certified. After that is cabin connections / shower time. So they'll shower. We try to shower every other day, if not every day. But every camper should be taking a shower whether they want to or not. And cabin connections is a time for them to connect with their cabin. So that's something that their counselor has planned as kind of a bonding experience with them and their fellow cabin mates. After that is dinner. And after dinner is evening reflection. Again, that's one of our celebration times, our spiritual program, and that will be up at the chapel. After that, we usually do an all camp game where all the campers get to play with one another. We try to do things that will kind of tire them out so that by the time they're at a campfire, they're ready to start winding down for the night. After that is campfire. We sing songs, we play skits, we make the kids laugh and have fun. And then after that is cabin time, get ready for bed. We do have lights out at 10 p.m. But usually campers are, when they're winding down and starting to want to fall asleep, they're out by 9:45. All right, so we have some other extra adventures on Wednesdays. We have horseback riding or rafting, just depends on which week it is and if you chose those extra excursions. And then on Thursdays, our leadership development campers will camp out on Shelworth Island. So we'll send them with food and supplies to go just right across the pond from us, if you will, to camp out on the island, which is a really fun experience and they love doing it. On Fridays, we have an instructional Eucharist, either in the morning or in the evening. It just gets campers used to what a Eucharist might look like. Again, it's challenge by choice. They just have to be present there. They don't have to participate unless they want to. All right. So we have some activities at camp. So we'll just go through our activity list right here. We've got lots of them. We've got hiking, canoeing, free swim, Wibbit, ceramics and arts and crafts, our high ropes course, which is only for kids 12 and up. So usually that's a couple of kids during our youth camp season, and then a lot of kids during our teen camp season. We have team building games, some stand-up paddle boarding, tubing. Every camper will get the chance to tube. That will be during one of their cabin connection times. Axe throwing, archery, slingshot, ukulele, spiritual connections, and lots more. So lots of programming, which again, your child gets to pick what they want to do. And with that, I'll pass it on to Megan.
Hey. Specifically about homesickness. So homesickness is totally normal. It happens to everybody. I get homesick, and I've been doing summer camps since I was 6 years old. It's a part of what it means to love your family and love your home, and totally normal. And there are some ways that you can help your camper prepare for success, and those include packing with your camper. You can check out the website with them, talk about the activities that they're going to have, plan for communication. So either that's sending those pre-addressed stamped envelopes home, or saying, I'm going to email you on this day and this day, so that your camper knows that you'll be in touch with them. Managing expectations. It's going to rain at camp. We're going to have to cancel some things. It might be snowy in June. You know, things happen. And that's okay. It's a part of life. And we're still going to make it the best experience that we possibly can for your camper. But not everything goes according to plan. There are more tips on that ACA website, and that will also be emailed to you before camp, if you'd like to just prepare and be on the lookout for those. There are also some wonderful books if your camper is a reader and is maybe a little bit nervous, that can help them process through narrative the experience of what it is like at a summer camp. They won't be exactly the same as Paradise Point, but hopefully that'll give your camper a little bit more confidence that they have what it takes to really have a great time. And homesickness goes both ways. You as a parent or guardian might be homesick for your camper. And if you would like, you can call our seasonal office anytime. And if you call before noon and ask for a camper check-in, we'll get back to you the same day. And we will do that by checking in with your camper's counselor, making sure that we know how their experience at Paradise Point is, and reporting back to you, the parent or guardian. This is all done without your camper's knowledge. So they don't know that you're checking in on them. They don't know that we have checked with you. So that's by design, because your camper is resilient and strong, and we don't want to take away any of that resiliency that they're practicing at summer camp. So our seasonal number, you can find it online. It's 208-634-2846. So you can call anytime you'd like. Now we're going to talk about
stay over weekend. So we do have campers who, if they're there for multiple weeks, will participate in a stay over weekend. So we do phone calls home on Saturday afternoon. That's just to check in with family. We know that a week long is already a long time to be without contact with your family. So we do let them call home on Saturdays just to check in and say hi. We'll do some laundry time. So campers will have the opportunity to wash their clothes. The staff mainly wash their clothes for them. And so you don't have to pack for multiple weeks. Just 1 week of camp is fine. We do attend a Sunday church service at St. Andrew's in McCall. And then after that, we usually explore McCall and do something fun like walk along the lake and get ice cream or a treat during that time as well. Staff will keep the same ratios for supervision, so there will always be multiple staff members there when driving and attending services and walking around McCall. We also usually ask everyone to wear their camper t-shirts for easy identification of who is our campers and who's our staff members when we're out and about.
And one last addition, if you are visiting McCall or live nearby and you want to come and visit your camper, just make sure to contact Caitlin or myself as directors, and we will set up a time that would be best for that so that we're not interrupting their trip to McCall or anything else that they might have going on. But if you want to pick up your camper, treat them out to lunch on Saturday, that sounds like a great time to me. So you're welcome to do that for our stayover campers. Okay, we're going to talk about the leadership development program really briefly. So at the same time as we're running our youth camps, we run leadership development camps. And that's a great way for us to fulfill our mission and to really uplift young people and help them strengthen their leadership skills and make the best citizens that we can to share in this planet together. 13 and 14-year-old campers can join the Leader in Training program. It's 1 week long, and there is an application part of all of these processes. And as you can see on the screen, the application and interview tools are just for us to learn about your camper. And it's not a competitive application. So once you're registered, we give you feedback to help that camper develop their application skills or interview skills. But we're not going to turn anybody who's registered for any of those camps away unless there's a major red flag or inconsistency in their application. Staff in training is 2 weeks long for 15 to 17-year-olds. And then junior staff is also a 2 week long program for 16 and 17-year-olds that have completed the staff in training program. So they get to do a little bit more of they get more responsibility, they get a little bit more freedom, and we really do rely on our junior staff to help our counselors make sure that everybody's got their shoes tied, that we've got sunscreen on, all of the work that it goes to taking care of young people. And many of our junior staff turn into our seasonal staff in the summer. And so we are so grateful to all of the young leaders that participate in this program. All of these leadership development camps are at no cost to families, so they are free. So share that. We love to have more people join us and more young people participating in our leadership development programs.
All right, next we'll talk briefly about day camps. So we do host a day camp program for local community members in the McCall or the Payette Lakes area. It's Tuesdays through Fridays, 9 to 5 p.m. during youth camps 1 through 4. We don't run it during beginners camps or our team camp. Our typical day looks like an 8:30 a.m. in-town drop-off. So we pick campers up either by pontoon boat or by car, depending on what our staffing looks like at 8:30 a.m. And we have in-camp drop-off at 9 a.m. for anyone who would like to drop and come in down the lake and drop off their kid. 9:30 to 12:30 p.m. is morning activities. They'll do that as their day camp group. We have lunch at 12:30. Day campers will still get a toes up time. So their nap time at 1:30 to 2:30 p.m. that will be in our rec hall. And then from 2:30 to 4:30, they participate with everyone else in waterfront time. Again, lifeguarded waterfront. At 4:30, they are preparing for departure and cleaning up after waterfront. And then at 5 p.m. is the in-camp pickup. And then we will leave camp at 5 p.m. and arrive in town at 5:30 p.m. for the in-town pickup. So the hot lunch is included in the cost, but we do have limited space and transportation. Like I said earlier, transportation will likely be by van, but could be by pontoon boat if the staffing and weather allows us. And day camp participants will enjoy a variety of activities, but they won't get to choose their activities like the rest of camp does, just because we have limited space options and we have to maintain ratios for that. We do make sure that there's still a variety of programs, and they're getting very similar programming that the rest of camp is getting as well. All right.
Hey, we get to talk about inclusion, one of my favorite things. So inclusion in lots of different ways of how we build a wonderful Paradise Point Camp community. So first, our rustic setting, we're up and down and walking and hiking, and there are a lot of obstacles. Paradise Point Camp may not be the best fit for campers that have major mobility issues. And we're aware we're working to be more accessible and a better fit for folks, but we're not there yet. And I want to be upfront and honest with all of our families. So if there's a camper that needs one-on-one support, kind of like if they have a one-on-one aide in school, please reach out as soon as you can to confirm that we have the staffing to appropriately staff that for your camper. Some of our weeks we have more staff and volunteers than others. So just reach out as soon as you can so that we can work with you to make sure that we can provide a safe and comfortable experience for your camper. We do have a mental health professional on staff, a licensed counselor who works with both our campers and our staff to help us process what it means to be alive and a person in the world today. And we know that in a large community of about 150 folks, there are people who are in different states of mental health or who might be having life experiences outside of camp that are affecting them. Grief, separation of parents, moving, all those things can come to camp and present in different ways. And so we have a mental health professional on staff to help our campers and our staff. And then last, we want to just make very clear that we are affirming of our trans and non-binary campers, staff, and volunteers. We are members of the Episcopal Church, and the Episcopal Church has made it very clear that God loves everyone, no exceptions. And so that is how it works at camp. The last thing I will say, and I apologize for not including this in a slide earlier, is that our campers are never alone and they're never one-on-one. So we have a rule that's called 2 + me is 3. So our campers are always traveling in groups of 3. And that ensures that, like I said, a camper is never alone and is never in a one-on-one situation with a peer or a staff member or adult. So we are always having 3 people whenever we are working with a camper. So that concludes all of the information, but please stay in touch. We have an active Facebook and Instagram page at Paradise Point Camp. We have a YouTube page at Paradise Point Summer Camp that has a wealth of resources from our virtual camp year in 2020. If you want to learn any of our graces, or if you camp songs, or if you just want to look at eggs dressed up like a troll playing the ukulele, we've got it there for you. The Get to the Point monthly newsletter, all of our accounts, you're automatically signed up for it. Can unsubscribe at any time if you'd wish, but that's a great way to stay in touch with different happenings that we have throughout the year. And then our next kind of big event, Idaho Gives, is May 1st through 4th of 2023. It's a statewide fundraiser for nonprofits all across the state. And we will be participating both in the fundraiser of Idaho Gives and at the block party if you are in the Boise area on May 4th at Ann Morrison Park from 3 to 8 p.m. We'll be singing camp songs and selling camp merch and accepting donations. So we hope to see you there. And if not, we hope to see you at Paradise Point. So I will now open up for Q&A from our lone online participant. Thanks for sticking with us.
Hey, no problem. It was really informative.
Thank you so much. If you have any questions, now would be a great time. Otherwise, just glad you're here.
Yeah, I did. It was by happenstance that I came across the email when I did, and I'm glad I was able to attend. It was really informative. I have much younger kids; they're 2 and 4. But my daughter's turning 5 June, so I was kind of interested in the beginners thing. I saw online about the beginners camp, but it's kind of hard to find information beyond what is available. It's hard to get like a proposed itinerary of what kind of activities they might be, participating in, so that I can figure out if it's the right move for us this year, as with a brand new 5-year-old, as one thing. And then the other question is age limits for the family, like the Fat Goose or the Labor Day deal. Is that, all ages welcome kind of a thing?
All ages.
Cool.
All ages, everybody. I will say for family camps, making sure that you're aware that family means that the adults in that family are going to be responsible for supervising the kids.
100%.
Great.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just got to make that clear.
Yeah, no, it seemed like, just to make sure I understand, it seemed like an opportunity to just take advantage of the facilities, get to see what's good, maybe participate in some activities, but as a family unit.
Exactly. Okay. And those are opt-in. You can join in all the activities, or you can be like, hey, what my family wants to do today is hang out by the beach, and that's great too. And we'll take care of your meals.
Awesome. That sounds great. So yeah, back to not to jump around, but back to the the proposed itinerary of sorts for the parent-child beginner thing. Where can I get some more information about that?
Yeah, that's a great one. I can send you that beginners camp information packet. So if you don't mind sending me just in a direct chat message your email address, and I will send that to you. That has kind of a breakdown of activities you can expect. And we do a theme day in our beginners camp. So our staff really takes pride in making that special for our campers. Last year was dinosaurs. We had our staff in giant inflatable dinosaur costumes running around, climbing up the ropes course. Super fun.
Awesome. I just shot that over to you, so hopefully it.
Perfect. I see it.
Great.
Thank you.
And that was it. Just those 2 questions. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for coming. We're getting something again. Well, have a lovely rest of your evening. I'll send that information over to you. And otherwise, thanks for joining. And Paradise Point Camp is so excited to be able to welcome another set of campers for this summer.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good night.
You too.